Hello. Little small technical difficulty due to a system update.
Okay, now we're good.
All right, okay.
Okay.
All right, let's get these guys going.
You got it. Okay, cool.
You guys are good to go. All right, so round one of our little double modern race for the Invitational.
Yeah, which is right around the corner.
Get Carmel Salinas on Burn and Michael Dashner on Blue White Narset. He says Blue White. It's kind of domain.
Is it domainy?
It's very domainy. Yeah.
Is it domainy now because
I think so.
So it's not really domainy.
It's really just like Narset control.
Everybody's just making every deck domain.
I know.
So they can play this card.
Dude, like I swear, like Chris Priest made the point of like, you know what's good against Blood Moon is Leyline Binding, but like, yeah, I still think that Blood Moon's good against people playing all five colors.
Yeah. I mean, generally.
Yeah.
It's known to be true.
You're not getting basic planes on turn one.
No, you were not. You are not. I mean,
Not in your five color deck. You're not.
my deck would, but not in like not in a control or mid-range deck forcing the extra colors. Like you're getting your mana on point early. That's what's happening. But you know.
You know what I'm excited to see tonight, John? 60 card decks.
I know. I think my mic is still not right.
It's this one.
Alright, you bastard.
You chose the wrong one, John.
I did. You got a 3. Yeah. There we go.
All right.
You fuckers.
Welcome, John.
Hey.
And we got players with keepable hands too. So
holy shit, we're gonna have some magic. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Because this is what we do. We fucking play magic. Take action.
Yeah, we need to adjust this right hand cam. It's a little too on top.
No, you scooted that one over when you incidentally clicked on it.
Oh, that's fine. But
you mean like I get you. What it is, Tommy D?
Nothing. It's funny. Zombie masters out there playing the zombie student.
yeah. Zombies on zombies. I'm sure that's going to be fun. We could have had that on camera, but we decided not to have zombies on camera. Should be an awkward thing to actually see, like conceptually in real life, just zombies trying to slowly chew on each other. All right, so pretty standard start for Burn over here, doing the usual thing. Actually, Idle on turn 2. You don't see that all the time with Burn. What do you think about that for this match, Dustin? Do you think that's going to carry some weight?
I think against control, you get Eidolon down as quick as you possibly can.
Yeah, seems good to me.
Yeah, because now, I mean, if he has an answer for it right now, it's going to cost him 2 life, and if he doesn't, he's going to start taking hits from it, and that's just great.
The other answer is going to cost him a card, and that's the one thing that makes it a little bit more manageable is Solitude. If he's playing Solitude.
Yeah, sure. Which I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
But no, I just think in general, get it out as quickly as you can.
Sure. Yeah, because your life total doesn't actually matter.
It does not.
So.
Not at all.
You're swinging for 1 all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Giddy up.
All right, taking some damage. That's what you do. Do we know if Mike's playing any sweepers?
We don't, because I haven't seen his deck. But yes, I'm sure he is.
Well, I think it's probably pretty similar.
Actually,
we have seen this deck before.
Yeah.
It might be different. It's very likely to be a little bit different.
It's a known deck. It's actually what Gabriel Nassif plays, but I don't know what he's actually playing right now. But yeah, it definitely runs sweepers.
You all have fun.
Yeah.
So I would assume. I could be making a complete assumption here that's just not correct, but it does have a lot of spot removal.
You got some snappers, you got some dress downs, you got the ley line. He's got all the colors. Leyline is also a good answer for that Eidolon.
Yeah, the Narset plan is going to be tricky here for Mike, just because it doesn't really work like you want it to against Burn.
Yeah, no, it seems like a wonky match for that plan, and I feel like. Do you think you'd maybe board it into a different plan? Like, just not worry about it?
I mean,
because it seems kind of slow and clunky against
I think you
match.
probably do. If you have an
Anything else
ulterior
that
plan,
makes sense. Yeah.
This would be probably the match, but it is kind of what your deck's built around. So,
well, it is, but I mean, so what's it as a build around? What's the payoff for the build around? I mean, the payoff is getting your opponent down to one card, but that's the thing. Burn's already
ideally you'll get them down to 0. I mean,
right.
The ultimate would be to get a little Teferi in play, plus it, and then do the whole thing on their turn. After like on their draw step.
Yeah.
So then they just have 0 cards.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's the idea, is to get them to
just
no
card
cards
advantage,
in hand.
and then.
But that's what I'm saying, is that Burn is already so accustomed to functioning off top decking.
This is going to basically play out like any other blue-white control matchup, where Mike's best card is going to be Solitude, just because of having a lifelinker in play.
Yeah, staying alive long enough to get that down.
But it's just going to be, can he get to 5 land drops, and that's ultimately the thing that comes into play.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, game 1's not looking good just because he hasn't killed anything yet.
So he's got a binding in hand, so that's going to answer the Eidolon.
Yeah.
Well, potentially.
Yeah,
it's answering something with no punishment to him.
Yep.
It depends situationally what he's going to choose to answer, but it's answering something, so that puts him somewhere, you know. If Carmel has a shit ton of prowess triggers, he might choose to answer. Oh, there's a skewer. Do we have a counterspell? No. All right, this is getting dicey. This is getting real dicey here.
Yeah, I think he can answer everything that's in play right now.
Okay, no extra shit from Carmel. So we're going to see that binding come down on that Eidolon, I believe.
I think he's got a second one.
You have 2?
I think he does.
Okay, no, he's going to binding. I kind of thought that's where you might go with that. Binding.
He only has
Swift Spear. He's got the Solitude in hand.
Really, he's going to leave this thing in play. I don't love that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I get trying to prevent some extra prowess damage, but you kind of you have answers for the other stuff easier if you get rid of that.
I think taking this hit right now is a mistake, if that's what his plan is. Yeah, man. If it's me, and I get that, like I just said, Solitude, a hard cast Solitude is going to win you the game.
He's going to have some action now. There's no way he can let that go. I would have probably... Could he have
maybe
Solitude
in his mind, there's no difference between 5 and 7 against Burn, and that's kind of true.
Kind of. It's not completely true.
When they still have a creature that you haven't dealt with, it's not really true.
And he's got the Solitude. Does he have a way? Can he pitch Solitude? Can he do
Well,
that?
I thought he had an extra binding.
I don't think he does. Let's see, Solitude.
And I'm pretty sure he has an extra binding. He just couldn't cast it last turn because he only got 1 white source.
Yeah, no, he does have the binding.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You play this 5-color, 2-color deck, and you can only play 1 binding a turn because you've only got 1 white source.
I don't know if I like the Solitude because he's playing so many blue cards. Like, Solitude is losing some premium right now without being able to be pitched to something.
Well, the problem is his white cards are cards that he doesn't really want to pitch.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
He's dead.
And what did I say? In his mind, he was thinking there's no difference between 5 and 7. Well, we're seeing why that's not really true. So right now, he should have solituded. Actually, he should have solituded the creature probably on turn 1.
Yeah,
he should have just said fuck this, because he took. I mean, that if he like the turn 1 play, if he just solitudes that, how much damage did that do over the course of that game? 4, 5?
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be at 10 right now. He'd be set up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have a solitude in hand, but fuck it. he'd be alive.
Yeah,
which is
and
better.
that's so. I do think that
It's so much
Let's
better.
go to hand. You got it.
Yeah, the problem here is that Mike has a lot of cards that are bad in this matchup. Like he actually does have a worse main deck configuration than regular blue-white control. I think you bring in all the counter spells.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just cut your Narset thing. I think that's what you do.
And I don't think he's thinking that way, but he did not touch any of the counter magic, which is shocking to me. I actually really like Force and Negation against Burn. I think it's fantastic.
I think he should not be leaning on this super slow several 3-drop plan in this match. I think he should just cut those things and just play this like a traditional control game here. I don't see a reason to worry about keeping.
Oh, you got to cut that. You got to cut the.
You got to cut the Narset and the Days Undoing thing.
Yeah, I also saw he has the black thing where you look at the top, 5 or whatever for 3 mana. But doesn't that lose you 2 life when you do that?
It does.
Yeah, that you can't play that card against Burn.
He's only got 4, so he's just trimming some stuff. Don't hate the trims. I do agree that he's got a Jace that he trimmed. He should probably.
I agree
keep
with
the
you, John.
Jace.
I'd be off the Narset plan. You want those counter spells. I'm sorry. Like you.
Oh
want
yeah,
them.
you do. Absolutely.
It looks like he disagrees.
So far. Yep.
Like
he disagrees.
he's gonna draw a Narset and lose to a counter spell. That if the Narset was a counter spell, like Narset's not winning you this game.
No. Because by the time you get it down, Burn's already almost in top deck mode anyway.
Burn has 0 cards that draw them an extra card.
Exactly.
So like it's not
you're-
it's literally just for a combo that by the time you pull that off, they're already out of cards because
Exactly.
they pointed them all at your
And
face.
every one that they draw is going
he's,
right at your
he's,
face.
He's getting there. I think he just pulled all of the.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Good. We want to see that. That's what we want to see around here.
But yeah, okay, get that thing out of there.
Yeah.
Anything that says you lose life is not good in a Burn matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow, he had a bunch of them in there too. Okay, I think he found the line, John.
All right, there we go.
All that talk and fear coming from my voice, and he's just gonna play what I would have played.
I don't hate the March.
I actually like Supreme Verdict in this matchup just because it's a clean way to deal with.
I think all the
Of
removal
course,
is good.
that's an old school thought where I always used to like Supreme Verdict in the Burn matchup just because it dealt with Eidolon, but like now I guess you have a million ways to deal with Eidolon. So
he decided to bring in a March, and I like the March.
yeah,
too.
March is good. It's that's the type of removal he needs, just super efficient.
March is fantastic, dude.
Oh, yeah.
that's one of the
Yeah,
recent
it's a good
cards
card.
that I really, really appreciate and think is just a super solid and very balanced and fair card.
There's I'm a fan. Like and this isn't a flat blue white control deck, but in the blue white control decks that are being played now, there's kind of a flex spot where they're not all the same. They're all kind of different, and like some people kind of have it more of like a Jeskai where they splash for fire ice,
Right.
and then the decks that don't generally are playing something more along the lines of the March, and I kind of like the March. I like
It's
fire
clean,
ice,
dude.
but I kind of like the March.
I mean, if you could get both, I'd like both, but yeah, in a flex spot, the March just does a lot.
I like diversity. I like that people have choices, but yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of like the March. Fire ice is a nice card though.
It is nice. It's nice. I mean, if you could have both, that's awesome, but you can't always do that. No, I like that. Yeah, March doesn't hit walkers, but it hit the lands. It's just a solid fucking. It's a fair card. I mean, you already have so many things to deal with walkers, and walkers are easy enough to deal with, especially once the meta shifted and people don't play that many walkers. Like March does a lot of good clean work.
I'm also approaching it from the perspective of a guy who likes Snapcaster Mage, and March is going to feel better with Snapcaster Mage, I think, a lot of times.
So Mike's rocking his Invitational, Matt. One thing I said on the last post I made about the Invitational is you guys can't let Mike take a third.
No, in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, guys. Somebody's got to unseat this fool. Like,
yeah, it's like the tomfoolery I've got going on in Monday League, man.
yeah,
Like
exactly. You must take the throne.
Yeah, like I just show up like a bum, like just been like phoning it in for the first like leg of the league, and then just show up and immediately 3-0 with like 0 drafts under my belt. Like here we go, the race has begun.
And here's the old guide. Get him for 2. Give him a land.
I miss this card, John.
You gotta love Goblin Guide.
I don't love playing it, but I love it drawing me these extra cards when I'm playing Control against Burn.
I like playing the little guy, dude. That's one of my favorite cards.
I think he's good, but I also like it when he draws me extra cards.
Oh, no, for sure. And that's the, the downside of him is that...
Is that the Hall of Heliod's...
No. Where? On Mike's? Or
in Mike's hand. He's got a...
because the leyline binding, I bet. Yeah, it is.
That's fucking terrible. You're putting this in your domain deck, dude,
for one card.
I hate it. I think actually.
Well, no. Okay, you know what? I don't hate it as bad.
I think that card is atrocious.
The card is not atrocious. The card is not.
I think it's atrocious.
No, here's going to be a point of contention. I don't think the card's atrocious. It's not any worse than Academy Ruins.
It's worse than Academy Ruins.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's any worse.
I do because the thing about artifacts, there's a lot of them that have like activation costs where enchantments generally like just kind of sit and play and do dumb enchantment things.
No. And I get that. Yeah. And so the thing that I was going to say,
and honestly, I'm not championing for Academy Ruins either.
No.
I think that it's kind of meh.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not your kind of thing. All right, so
I think you will lose just as many games to not having a color in that spot as you will win games by recurring
and I definitely would not disagree with that whatsoever. So we got a good creature start on this game for Carmel. So let's see if Mike has a sweeper in hand.
I think this has got to be a binding, right? Like he's not taking this hit.
He's got to do something.
Like he's got the mana in play now.
But no, he doesn't.
Oh, he does not.
Because that's a blue triome, so that would have cost 2 for the binding. That's what binding's funky. So what I was saying, the thing that I think, I don't like people jamming Hall of Helios Generosity index. They did it when it first got printed. They're doing it now because of leyline binding. The thing that I think makes it a little bit better, and it's not good enough for me, is they do have dress down. That makes it better. But it's still, I agree with you, definitely not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with Hall of Helios binding. I have a problem with people jamming it in a deck when there's not a reason to. Like, if you're going to play that card...
Yeah. I'd rather just have perfect mana and draw the next copy.
Well, yeah.
Draw more cards.
What makes Academy Ruins playable is when you put it in an artifact deck. Yeah. Right? So, but
what I'm saying is, that card specifically, there are artifacts that can win you the game and stuff. Where I think you're not doing that so much with.
That's so. What I'm saying is that
they could put Walking Ballista on top 1,000,000 turns in a row and kill you. You're not doing that with Hall of Helios.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. There are enchantments that would allow you to do so.
You're putting an answer on top of your deck, probably an answer on top of your deck when everything in your deck is already an answer, and
right.
I just prefer to hit my natural land, especially now. So something I'm noticing in this game, and I'm curious as we watch more and more of the leyline binding, which the jury for me is still out on it.
Me too. I don't think it's. I think it's a good. What
I'm noticing in these domain decks is this is the second game in a row where
Rolling Vortex. That's a good card.
Say Mike had 2 leyline bindings, he can't cast 2 in one turn with this mana base.
I know,
and that's a problem.
No, it is. And so the point that I'm making about leyline binding, or the point that I'm making about Hall of Helios Generosity, is that Academy Ruins has been a playable card because it can go in a dedicated artifact deck. The problem with Hall of Helios Generosity is there isn't a dedicated enchantment deck. What has happened with it is people stick it in a deck with a handful of enchantments, and that's not really where you want to be. It's not giving you enough oomph. Because like you said, Academy Ruins can win the game.
There isn't a dedicated enchantment deck.
Exactly. That needs it, at least. There is one, but it doesn't need that card.
I agree, man. I agree. I'm
just saying there's nothing wrong with a card. It's inappropriate usage.
And I'm not saying like there
Is the
are
point that I'm
definitely
making.
situations where like maybe you like with Shark Typhoon, like I put a Shark Typhoon on top of my deck and that's going to be my win condition. Like sure, but I
Yeah.
still think there are going to be times when you're going to lose matches
No.
because you don't have a color.
Yeah.
And to me, they're probably going to happen at about the same rate, which
Sure,
to me means that I'd rather just have my colors.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And
And
especially...
he does have a white source. He got the fetch land. And
so-
I am a little concerned about the white the number of white sources to go with.
He's just like, I'm done. Oh, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, all right. That was a quick and clean 2-0 for Carmel there. Damn.
We didn't pick a good one there, John.
No, we didn't. Well, it could have been.
Mike didn't have like
It could have been
optimal
good.
draws there.
The second game was super rough.
Carmel
the first
had
game was
the
good
creature
enough.
draw, and Mike had no spot removal.
Yeah.
That was...
And that's the tricky thing about Burn, is that happens sometimes. You're like, oh, it spells. And then they're like, ha, bitch. Dudes. So, all right, well, maybe we can catch a little bit of extra coverage
and
here.
when I play like control against Burn, I always think about dudes first. Like I don't like keeping a hand that can't deal with the goblin
Well,
guy.
no, yeah,
You
because
expect you're gonna see
rely
one of them
they
at
rely
least,
on at
probably
least one
two.
of them.
Yeah,
Burn needs one of their dudes.
but at the same time, I also think that the like turn one suspend Rift Bolt is like if I'm playing against control, that's ultimately like how I want them to lead. You know, like, to me that means they have a
Anything.
capable draw that's not great. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
So
All right.
all right.
We'll see if we can catch some bonus, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If not, we'll see you soon.